Hey guys, welcome back. Today's a very special day. It's a day I didn't think would ever come, and I definitely didn't think this day would come with the results that we got. Today I present to you Subculture. It happened, I don't hate it, and if you want to see how I got here, then keep watching. So just really quickly building up my transition a tiny bit with Bone Beige on a Morphe M504, which if you guys have watched any of my recent videos, you'll know that I've pretty much been doing this every day. And then starting with the shade Dawn on a Morphe M433, I barely tapped into that shade and then tapped off the excess. Now, I know I'm very late to the party on this palette. The Subculture palette actually came out on my birthday last year, and I was going to buy it as like a birthday present to myself. But then all of the review videos started coming out a few days before the actual launch of the palette. And probably like a lot of other people, the reviews just kind of scared me away from it. You know, just watching everybody's application and seeing that everybody was kind of having the same issues with those shadows. And for me, it wasn't anything about like the fallout issue. And I honestly don't think that was really anybody's issue. And it seemed like everybody just had a really hard time getting these colors to blend out. So again, I avoided it. Even though the colors really spoke to me, you know, I don't know, I didn't want to go spend $42 on a palette just to return it, you know? And then as time went on and I saw a lot of looks being created with it on Instagram and, you know, not necessarily by beauty influencers, but just by like real people that were creating looks with this palette. And I'm like, that looks pretty good. That doesn't look patchy. That doesn't look unblended. That doesn't look weird. But last week I finally was just ready. I just knew I had to have it. So I picked it up, I bought it. I didn't even use it for a couple of days after I had it. I was kind of scared of it, you know? I mean, again, some of the colors that I'm gonna be using today, I haven't even dipped into yet, so I'm like, this could go really good and I could create a really awesome look with this today, or it could go downhill really fast and I could get super frustrated and film like 3 hours worth of putting on makeup just to have some kind of awful thing happen, but I guess we'll see. Now on that same M433, I'm gonna dip into Mercury. I actually have not used this color yet. This is my very, very first time using this shade, so this will definitely be more of a first impression. Really just kind of stamping into the socket and just kind of like quickly move back and forth in a stamping motion. Because then you're not like swiping away the shadow as you're trying to blend it out. But just from what I've seen in other tutorials using this palette, I just kind of was able to come up with a plan of action and, you know, I think I might have figured out how to use this palette and make it actually work before I even purchased it. And so far with some of the other colors, this has actually worked out really well using this method, so. I'm gonna almost do small circular motions just to blend out the edges of where I had initially laid down that shadow in the socket. Kind of blend it outward. And what kept drawing me back to this palette was the color story. I just feel like when you look at the palette and when you look at all of the colors together, it just has this really kind of ugly, grungy, dirty 70s, just kind of weird, different, just very different vibe to it. And for those of you who have watched my recent videos where I feel like I've been talking more and more about creating more kind of like grungy, dirty, kind of like the pretty ugly kind of color story and eyeshadow looks, I think you'll know that everything was pretty much leading up to this palette. And so far, I'm pretty glad that I finally bit the bullet and just went ahead and purchased it. Because so far it seems to be working out pretty well for me. Now, I would say overall, I'm not really having a big issue as far as patchiness, as far as having a hard time blending these shadows out. But I also feel like matte shadows are a lot less forgiving than a shimmery formula. Now on an R39, I'm going to just kind of pack a little bit more of that color right into the crease. That way we can just kind of build that color up a little bit more. Now, so far so good. There is definitely a lot of kick up in the pan, but since I'm being very careful about tapping the excess off my brush, I'm not getting a lot of fallout on my face, which is important. Now on that same R39, I'm gonna go ahead and start building up fudge. So basically I'm just pressing that onto my lid and then I'm gonna blend that up into my crease. Once I'm satisfied with the blend of fudge up into Mercury, then I'll go back in with a packing brush just to pack more of that color onto the lid and build it up some more. But for right now, I'm just kind of softly packing that in. Now, I wanted to create an all matte look today. Yesterday, I created an all matte look, and I really, really liked the way it turned out because I just really liked the contrast of the matte eye look against my oily skin. Like, I didn't mind how oily I got throughout the day because I feel like the matte shadow was like a nice contrast against it. And then going back to, trying to create a variety of looks on my channel. And again, don't expect a whole lot of cut crease and, crazy large wings and that kind of stuff on my channel because that's just not who I am and that's not what I do in my real life as far as makeup goes. And I wear a lot of makeup every day. Again, I might stray a little bit from time to time, but we all have our thing that we like, And I also feel that as far as my videos that get more views than others, there doesn't really seem to be a lot of rhyme or reason to it. But the few videos where I've kind of really pushed myself to do something just kind of a little bit more artistic or kind of weird or just a little bit crazier than what is my norm, I'll think that those videos are gonna get a lot of views and they actually get the least amount of views. And again, that goes back to, stay true to who you are, Maybe people like what you're already doing and, that's what they're here to see. So I'm just gonna start to pack that color on a little bit more, starting in the center of the lid, kind of right at the lash line. I'm really just kind of patting that color on. Even with a small packing brush like this M421, on the inner corner here, I am able to kind of, as long as you use a really, really, really soft touch, I'm able to get in there and just really kind of smooth and blend that out without having to go in with a fluffy brush to do that. So I think that, again, as long as you have patience, I think that this palette is really easy to work with. Now on a dirty MAC 221, I'm going in with Rowdy. Now I've actually used this color quite a bit this week and I've used it on this exact same brush, which is why I'm using this brush because it already has Rowdy on it. So why dirty up another brush if we don't need to? Rowdy actually has the least amount of fallout out of anything in this palette that I've used so far. So it's really pigmented, it's really dark. And this color for me is very similar to the shade Vanity from Jeffree Star's Beauty Killer palette, where it's very, very dark and it will add a lot of depth and obviously a lot of darkness to a look without being black. It almost has that purple plumminess about it, but since it's so dark, it doesn't read as purple, you know what I mean? It's just really good for smoking out and deepening up anything else that you're using. So I am a huge fan of this color. Now I need to go on a no buy, or at the very least a low buy. I feel like I've been buying so much makeup lately, but I feel like I almost kind of feel justified in my purchases because I'm I need to have new stuff so I can film new content. I don't know. I almost feel like if I buy one more eyeshadow palette, then I need to get rid of all of my singles, or at the very least like half of my single shadows. I'm definitely gonna declutter. I'm definitely about to get rid of some shit. I almost feel that when I have an urge to buy another palette or buy more makeup that I don't need, maybe I should go to the dollar store and buy a bunch of dollar store makeup and do like a dollar store video. So I've already applied coffee to my waterline. Now I'm going in with an E36 and just kind of smoking that in with a little bit of Rowdy, just to fill in any little gaps there. Now on a Morphe M507, I kind of dipped back and forth in between Dawn and then Fudge, just to create like a nice in-between color there, just so I can kind of blend out the under eye and add a tiny bit of warmth into that area as well. And I'm so glad that I discovered this brush. I need like 15 more of them. Did I get 2? I think I got 2 or 3 of these. I definitely need more. So you guys know I can't do an entirely matte eye look. So for my inner corner, I'm going to pop on Electric over top of some NYX glitter primer. I'm gonna start by laying down the glitter primer as always. Honestly, I could probably edit out this step, but for new viewers, you might wanna see what I'm doing here. And then on a Morphe M431, just kind of pressing Electric right into that primer. Now I did see that NYX has both a glitter primer and a pigment primer. Now I'm not sure what the difference is between the two, but since I have had really, really good luck using the glitter primer with both pigments and with glitter, I figure I'm just gonna stick with this one for now. So speaking of highlighters, I did pick up a new one. I finally was able to track down the new Wet n Wild, what is this called? The Goth something collection. I don't know. Anyway, I picked up the loose highlighter in the shade Moon Tears, which I think the loose one only came in one shade. And I haven't even opened it yet. It's still sealed. So we're gonna go ahead and bust into this thing together. So I found the collection at Walgreens, finally. I feel like it took forever for it to get there. For me, this collection was all about the packaging, and in particular, the container for this loose highlighter. I just really had to have it. Even if I didn't necessarily like the color of the highlighter, I just really wanted the packaging. On a Morphe Y14, I'm just gonna dip right into the highlighter, and we are going to see, let's get some of this hair out of the way here so we can actually see what's going on. All right, ready? Let's try it. Yeah, that was just barely getting any on the tips of those bristles there, and that's how blinding that is already. And when I look straight ahead, I don't get a lot of a gray cast there, which is really good. I think I might really like this color. I think this is one of those products I might have to have backups of. Okay, and then on an M504, just to really pinpoint highlight right on the cheekbone. Yeah, I would definitely have to say the Wet n Wild is killing it with the highlighters. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some mascara on my lashes and some lip gloss on my lips, and I will be right back with the final look. All right, guys, so that is the final look. And I have to say, I'm really surprised with how much I like the Subculture palette. I love this Wet n Wild highlighter. I think it's a really good color for my skin tone. And also, congratulations to the winner of the giveaway. I hope you enjoy your highlighters. I'm sure you will. I use them every day and I really love them. I know that you'll love them too. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for all the love. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for sharing with all of your friends. Thanks for all the kind words. And I'll see you guys on the next one.